Thanks, folks, for attending this brief presentation on Innovaser and how we interact with Amazon Web Services. My name is Mike Sutton. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Innovaser. And my first slide is kind of the normal marketing slide to let you know a little bit about who we are as a company. So we don't consider ourselves a startup anymore. We're kind of in the scale-up mode. We're about 1,400 employees. We're in the data activation business for taking clinical claims data, any data about a patient, any data about a healthcare member, and aggregating that data and getting it in a position where it's usable by the analytic community and the application developers. Up there you see some of our select customers. We sell into like the three primary markets, with providers being our largest mind share of our business, with a lot of payers we kind of introduced over the last year with all the interoperability requirements that came out. And then Roche, of course, up there is one of our landmark life sciences partners who's helped developing clinical decision support systems on our platform. There's a whole bunch of, we've been in the business for a while, since 2016. There's a number of recognitions from Gartner and KLAS and the normal folks in the business. And most all of it around both, kind of data management, data activation in the clinical claim space. And then we built a suite of applications for population health, which are been very popular in the ACO market, the clinically integrated network market. There's some statistics on our right-hand side. We have over 50 customers in production using this in real-life environments and providing value to their health systems or their payer business. So I think if you're at this conference, I don't think anyone, is kind of, new to the concept that healthcare is a little bit fragmented, that those little freeways are data exchanging back and forth. The classic interaction between payers and providers being a quad directional interface that take many, many times to get claims and and encounters kind of rectified. So what we took on, what our hope in this business is to create a data management environment where this data doesn't have to be the most traveled data in any other industry that we're aware of. And as many of you know, many health systems and payer environments have understood this problem and they're going out to chase it. But there's three big hurdles, in our opinion, in our estimation, of getting together of what it takes to build out an efficient data management platform in the healthcare space. And so, first of all, and I'm sure no one here is surprised by this, but the ability to have high quality data that is secure and follows all the regulations is not a small task. I used to work for the United States government where the data was top secret and we had to protect it. Same thing here, it's just as valuable and just as important to folks. The second piece is data management is not a well understood discipline within the healthcare community. There's other environments where perhaps they have a little more experience at it, but even if you can find somebody that's experienced at data management, understanding the specifics and idiosyncrasies of clinical data and the semantic complexity of this data is a very, very hard asset to find, train, and retain. We're seeing that 48% of the CIOs, kind of acknowledge that as a problem. And then the last one is being able to get budget for something as uninteresting as data. Although it's our lifeblood, and I find that hard to believe, but in many organizations there's priorities that reach out higher than data management. And so what we did at Innovaser is we build a product that takes the knowledge, so you don't have to have 100 data engineers. We have 300 of them that are clinical experts. And so we've taken that knowledge, we've productized it, deployed it in AI-type packages in order to help curate and manage data. Also, you don't have to build this yourselves. We run on Amazon Web Services as a platform, so you don't have to do configuration of servers. This is a product, so it's very quick to market. It's not uncommon for us to bring in an EMR feed in less than a month. and we've done 85 unique EMRs to date. But I'll go a little bit through this kind of high-level architecture of our product. 3 main pieces. The far left-hand side is the ingestion data acquisition piece. We've, like I said, we've done 85 unique EMRs with 200 and some odd versions of those. We keep backward compatibility with the versions. We've brought in most of the national claim systems, not to mention a lot of the smaller regional claim systems, the ability to bring that data in and tie it to the encounter and episode data, as well as, and most recently, we've been adding, some of our customers are driving us to add some of the things, especially around COVID, the ability to track open beds, the ability to account for durable medical equipment, PPEs. So we've added that to our environment. And the principles of bringing that data in is light lift. We don't require special formatting. We take it in whatever format we get, and then we do that ingestion and acquisition of data. The middle part and the center of that is our data activation platform. That's the process. I know you're going to want to see more details on that, so the next slide is very detailed of this, how we implement it on Amazon Web Services. But what we do here is we correct the data for syntax. We do all the common table lookups with all the reference data, where it's SNOMED codes or ICD codes or even zip codes. We have all that, make sure the data's right, and then we run it through the identity unification process, because people, as you all know, and what we see is about an average of 8 identities in the healthcare system. Multiple MRNs, multiple payer IDs. You've got the LabCorp, the Quest type IDs. We put all those together, and then we run semantics on that data to make sure that, is all this data correct for this person? Do we find inconsistencies? Because before we release it, which is the right-hand side of this data, we want to make sure that clinicians can trust it, data scientists can trust it, or business analysts can trust the data. Which then is the third part of that environment. And we're over in booth 3701, but right next to us in 3801 is our partner pavilion. So our hope and what we're pushing for is to get people to develop on our platform, so that every application, every great idea that people have, they don't have to build their own data pipeline, and they can leverage the data that's available on our platform. So a bit of detail on this one. This is kind of the insides of this. We are native in the platform. We don't have a single virtual machine in our environment. Our goal and our hope is to connect tightly with the Amazon Web Services ecosystem of applications. For people who want to do AI development, we have native implementation into SageMaker. So when they call up and looking for data, you get a self-service catalog and say, if I'm looking for a particular clinical data, they can grab it. They don't need to go to the source, whether it's Epic or Cerner, Allscripts or QNext. The data is available in a format that they can use, and most importantly, they can trust. We are taking advantage of a lot of the native services that Amazon Web Services Data Lake is providing. We're using some of their parsers. We build out some of our own environments. We're using the Kubernetes containers in many cases. But the idea is to get it to that top layer where we actually are producing outcomes, whether it's for patient engagement, whether it's to influence clinician behavior, whether it's just getting the right information without that inundation of all the other data that a typical EMR screen presents yourself. In many cases, we have at our point of care access is a simple step. It's very much like a GPS system. Turn right or schedule this procedure. Those calculations are done using the AI and the models that we have in our data platform, and they're presented at the point of care. As I mentioned, we have over 50 production customers running our data activation platform. Elevate Health is one of our great customers out in the Washington State area. What we find interesting about Elevate, and is a goal of many, many health systems, of course, is to save money. But it's interesting how Jody did this. So they were having an issue with leakage out of their network, and with the availability of our platform to inform them of what the needs are, and then providers in the area and within their network, it kept them within the network, and they saw a 13% reduction in network leakage outside of their network of providers. And probably more interesting is they have taken advantage of a lot of the community services, because as I mentioned, we ingest a lot of data. Well, we ingest data coming from the community services provider, in this particular case in Washington. And so they were able to offer and take advantage of community type services for their membership, so they didn't have to pay for it themselves. And this was huge. And not only it was a benefit to Elevate, but it was also a benefit to the membership that they're serving and the community services as well. They've got a big uptick in the community capabilities that are available in their area. That's all I really had to talk about. I appreciate your patience and a quick snippet of the capabilities of Innovaser and our data activation platform. And then the fabulous relationship, if you're an Amazon Web Services, we're available in their marketplace now, and happy to answer any questions here as a sidebar. Thank you.